Hey everybody, Raven here, and today we're going to be talking about the 1883 Liberty Head nickel, no cents, yes, the Racketeer nickel. But before we get into the story and history of it, let's talk about what led up to the V nickel or Liberty Head nickel being made. So the V nickel was being made to replace what most people referred to in that day as the ugliest coin ever minted, that being the shield nickel. This new coin would be designed by Charles E. Barber and was actually a really big push and lobby from Joseph Wharton, who would be supplying the U.S. Mint for the copper and the nickel to produce the new style nickels themselves. Wharton had possession of the largest nickel and copper mines during that time, and he stood to make a substantial fortune off the U.S. Mint and its new use of metal, copper, and nickel together in the mintage of coins such as pennies and nickels, what have you. So in 1883, the new this minting of the new V nickel would lead to a series of fraudulent events. First, let's show you this nickel under the scope. All right, so this is the reverse of the V nickel, and then of course the obverse. A beautiful coin. This one actually has some die cracks in it and is a really nice uncirculated example. But right there you can see nowhere does it really refer to it being a 5-cent item or a nickel, so this will come into play. So like I said, in 1883 they were proud to launch its brand new nickel, the Liberty Head or V nickel as it's popularly referred to. Nobody knew that this design would lead to one man making the equivalent of almost $400,000 in today's money, current value of money, simply off of gold-plated nickels that fooled shopkeepers into believing it was a $5 gold piece. This is the story of Josh Tatum and the Racketeer nickel. Now, in the 1880s, there was a man by the name of Josh Tatum, and he was the mastermind behind one of the most famous cases of fraud in the United States. This involved the use of gold-plated 1883 Liberty Head / V nickels that had been plated in gold. Tatum would use these nickels at local cigar shops and stores in hopes that the shop owner or cashiers would mistake this new nickel for the $5 gold pieces that were pretty common. Because the reverse of the new nickels didn't refer to the value in writing other than a large Roman V that would could be misconstrued as a $5 gold piece. He had made a deal with a local jeweler or pawnbroker to make over 1,000 of these plated nickels. Here's the interesting thing. Tatum himself was a deaf mute, and he was able to use this to his own advantage when running the scam. He would walk into a cigar shop and simply point to a 5-cent cigar, and then hand over the gold-plated nickel and wait for his $4.95 back in change. If the shop owner didn't give him change, he would simply walk away. And that was pretty smart in his scheme. And if he didn't walk away, he got his change, he would make $4.95, which is an insane profit for those days. Because Tatum never actually told the shop owners that it was a gold coin, because he couldn't speak, he eventually won a case against him, as all he did was hand over gold-plated nickels. It was not his fault that it was misconstrued for a $5 gold piece. Word of this scam quickly spread about the Racketeer nickels, and many people tried to pass off gold-plated nickels to local vendors and stores. If they got caught in the act, they'd simply just try to brush it off and be like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I was just kind of joking with you. I'm just joshing you." And actually, that is where the phrase "I'm just joshing you" was born and forever locked into our country and society's vernacular. A phrase that you still hear to this day. Somebody's messing around or joking, they're like, tell you a big story. They're like, "Ah, man, I'm just joshing you. I'm just pulling your leg." That kind of thing. To give you an idea of what Tatum got away with, here's what 5 cents could get you at a local eatery. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can see right there, 5-cent dishes for breakfast mostly, it looked like, but you could get oatmeal and milk for 5 cents, cracked wheat and milk for 5 cents. So, basically some cereal, griddle or buckwheat cakes, which are pancakes, with syrup for 5 cents. You could get baked beans, bread, and butter for 5 cents. Fish balls, 5 cents. Hashed meat for 5 cents. Fried onion, 5 cents. Tea, coffee, cocoa, a glass of milk, or some fried potatoes. So, 5 cents had a lot of shopping power back then. And then if you looked at a restaurant, at lunchtime, a different establishment, here they had all sorts of stuff. You could have clam chowder, oyster fritters with bread and butter, clam fritters, fish cakes, fried codfish, shad, eels, perch, catfish, sausage, tripe, liver, mackerel, beef stew, lamb stew, veal pot pie, pork chops, corned beef hash, frizzled ham, cold corned beef, buckwheat cakes, and there's actually more to this list. Let me move it up for you a little to show you guys what I'm talking about here. If I can. Oh, you know what? I can't get that to move. Oh, there it goes. So, hot cornbread, crackers and milk, bread and milk, cracked wheat and milk, oatmeal and milk, hot biscuit, potato, fried potato, boiled buns, rolled pies, and puddings. Tea and coffee is made of the most purest things as well. So, for 5 cents, you could get quite a lot. Now, think about what happens when you make that $5 in value. And we will show you that here right now, the power of a dollar. Look at this. For 56 cents, you could buy a quarter milk. A pound of cheap coffee was 35 cents. So you could get really nice coffee probably for less than $1 a pound. Sugar, 3.5 pounds at $1.05. Half a ration of meat for 1 week. $3.50 for $7. You get a full rations meat for the week. 4 pounds of butter for $1.60. 2 pounds of lard for 38 cents, and so on. And you can see that rent was $4 a week in most places. So you were living for $16 to $20 for your rent, which was just unbelievable. So now, if you think about what he did. Tatum made a small fortune off of his scheme, as it was said he made almost $15,000 off of those nickels. And to give you an idea, he ran this scam from Boston to New York, and to give you an idea, that would be the equivalent of almost $400,000 in today's money, or $390,000 is the number that I came up with, but rounding it to 400,000 because who knows the exact amount that he got away with. Because of this scheme, it is believed that these 1883 no-cent Liberty nickels would be worth a lot more money down the road, and subsequently, a lot of people ended up hoarding these coins and thinking that, hey, they're going to be worth a lot of money down the road because of the story behind it, and, well, that led to nowadays, you can find a really nice example of an 1883 no cents, and it's really hard to find an 1883 with cents in an AU or BU condition because they simply weren't kept like the no cent version. And also, this story goes to show you how creative scam artists can really be, as this scam still kind of continues to this day. It is hard to determine the true Racketeer nickel population because they were just gold-plated nickels. And so nowadays there are still people that try to profit off of 1883 V nickels by getting them gold-plated or plating them themselves and charging a more substantial value by saying, hey, this is an original Tatum Racketeer nickel. So you want to keep your eyes out for something like that. If you see a Racketeer nickel for something that's too good to be true, I would stay away from it. I would actually go with either a PCGS or NGC or Annex graded, slabbed, and certified versions so that you know for sure that, hey, I have a third party that's backing this coin itself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you liked this video and enjoyed the story of Josh Tatum and the Racketeer nickel. And remember, the next time you hear somebody saying, hey, I'm just joshing you, you know where that comes from. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscription button, tap that notification bell, bing, so you don't miss all the really cool upcoming live content and videos and live streams we have, as well as auctions. If you want to correspond, it's ravenhawkcoins@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box is 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma, 73070. Like always, please make sure to take care of one another, and we'll see you in the very near future. Or really soon. Ravenhawk Coins, have a great day.